And what is the interest rate, Bob, at this point? I know you can't project for 3 weeks, but we had 4.25%, so.
I would think it's somewhere over 4, not as high as 4.25.
Yeah, no. We just had our auditor had just done a bond.
It was with Bob.
Oh, yes, yesterday, it was 3.95, right?
Yeah, I'd let he should speak to that.
That's what he said.
Yeah, he
We
said,
just done one
actually
yesterday.
it was 3.998, and it was a
Thank you.
wraparound.
And then
Yeah.
up to 4.05. So it's a pretty,
4.05.
exactly right.
The hell of each issue, each maturity,
Yeah.
he'd compare, make the appropriate comparisons. Each issue is a little different.
Yeah, so we examined whether it would be more appropriate to now put off the, put off the bond issue or reduce the bond issuance from 6.4 to, something like 4 million, and then, go through the process of eliminating some of the debt. But he suggested what we do is, particularly because, as Rosalie explained, the investment rates are favorable, we go ahead and do that issuance. We do our job to review this with a fine-tooth comb and find some of these, amounts that we won't need to spend, and maybe we can revisit some of these issues, because I know you say you went through it with a fine-tooth comb, but I haven't gone through it with a fine-tooth comb. Maybe there are things in there we don't need after all. So we do that, we could cancel some of that debt, and the impact on the wraparound would be no impact on the taxes. And that's, what we have to work with. We either find a way to, come down hard on, new taxes, or we try to find a way to level them over the time. And that's what I think it's more prudent to level them over the time, even though.
You keep saying that. You can't guarantee that. The other way could be leveling the taxes. So
No,
I
that's
disagree
definitely
with
not
your
leveling.
characterization of that.
No, definitely not leveling, because we're going to be going up 3 points next year if we don't. If we
Yeah,
take
but in the future, we're going to be going up more under the wraparound program. So you're just talking about the short term.
You're losing 1/3 of your debt after 2014.
Yeah.
All right.
I understand that.
and-
We all have the same documents. And the tax
I know,
rates
but
are higher,
you're
10
saying
years
it's not
down the road.
leveling. You're basically, how they structured debt.
Absolutely.
So the point is that you're going to have overlapping debt. So, basically what you're saying is the tax points we'll be paying in 2008, you're hitting everybody all at once. The wraparound program allows you to put it incrementally over several years. If you ask anybody out there, do you want to pay it all out at once? Most people are going to say no. If you can give it to me over a couple of years, and it's not going to be in the same immediate time frame too. That's the idea. You're going to be not hitting them all at once. And
Yeah.
granted, this building is a major component of it. It's a 40-year asset. Why hit them with all of it all at once?
Yeah, and Chris, look, I appreciate that you just became a financial analyst, but our auditor.
I don't think I just became, I've been doing this for
Anyway.
17 years,
As a
actually.
finance, I thought
Yeah.
that was the insurance. Well, I apologize then. That, our auditor, who's handling, 50 municipalities and does these kinds of bond issuances all the time, is telling us, with respect to the tax impact, this is the most prudent thing to do. If you want to hit the taxpayers harder, then go with a level. I say, I ran on, trying to make sense out of some of these tax impacts, and I think the
We've had a
wraparound.
discussion.
So
There's no doubt
but the
that is exactly what you want if you want to reduce your tax impact to go with the wrap. We all agree with that. We all see those numbers.
A short term.
But what I think is, for long-term fiscal responsibility, I think we need to get busy paying a little principal
But
sooner rather than.
just to educate the
pushing it
public,
out.
you're saying
Reduce our
that
interest
if
costs
you
and
go.
Also,
Hold on a second. Go ahead.
reduce our interest costs, and also it'll spread the cost of these assets over more people, or I should say, a bigger time frame.
But the tax impact that you're saying with the wraparound, with the level is 3 cents. The impact between 2007 and 2008 is 3 cents. But the wraparound, the impact is 2 cents.
No, I explained to you.
So it's,
and-
but I just want the public, it just seems like one is way, higher, but it's just 1 cent. And, it's not like, because it's 3 cents that it's far off the mark of the wraparound.
Well, if you listen to what our auditor told us, if you follow his recommendation, there would be no impact in 2008 by using the wraparound and canceling some of the debt we're not going to be needing. And that's what Mead was explaining. So that's
considering a $200,000
Right.
debt cancellation.
Yeah, and we
which I don't know
came
that
up
we
with a
can get
bunch of
to,
items
so-
that exceeded $200,000 by reviewing those lists with Rosalie, with Kevin, with our auditor last night.
I haven't seen that. But
Okay.
I'll trust you.
But that's what we did. So he was making the recommendation, we do it that way. Next year, the tax impact would be 0, and then the following year would be 1 cent, and there would be, that 1 cent would be carried into about 6 years until the first debt would be retired, at which point it would start coming down. And if we have future debt, we could do the same kinds of wraparound, so that as the other debt retires, we could work that in. I mean, that's the whole point, is to do it financially prudent. I agree that, you want to spread it out over the most taxpayers, but you also don't want to bang your taxpayers that have been banged for quite a few years now. So that's my point. Let's not bang them
I
again.
think we've spent enough time on this.
So what do you want to do?
Let's vote.
Are we all ready to,
I'd like to survey you people and see if there's any way that anybody would consider modifying one of the schedules, and perhaps the RAP schedule could be modified, Chris, and you could be happy by paying some extra
I'll do
principal.
whatever reduces the amount of interest payments this town.
That
To
will
me,
reduce
that's-
interest payments, as you know, if we pay more principal in the front end.
Absolutely.
but you understand that we're going
We need to vote on
to
this.
impact,
We're voting,
what I'd like to do
there are
is-
more than two options in front of me, that's
Well,
what I
just-
have to know.
First of all, before we vote, we're going to hear from the public and see if anybody is interested in commenting about their tax impact. Mr. Connor?
Mayor, just for the record, I put up the resolutions there. The public, obviously, they don't have the schedule, so they won't be speaking to that, but the resolutions, if people are interested, I had put up there on the counter there.
Okay, thank you.
I just need a couple points to clarify. Mr. Collins, you said it was, I'll use round figures, around $200,000 present value based over a 20-year life. Is that your calculation? Okay, that's correct. Okay. And Mr. Vittoria, you said that was 3 cents on the tax rate, which is somewhere around $400,000. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's about right.
Okay, good. Then if I look at this, you're saying that we're going to spend an extra $10,000 a year, which is $200,000 divided by 20, which is $10,000, and in the first year, we're going to save approximately $400,000 in tax rate, which means that we're paying 2.5% on that money.
That's not correct.
But-
The tax point is $126,000. That's the difference between the two. So there was a
So
What's being
miscommunication.
proposed?
It's 3 versus 2, though. So
No,
there's
it's
a
not.
one-
I
The way
asked,
explained it,
okay,
it's
I don't want to get
three
involved in
versus
this
there's a
discussion
one-point
here.
differential between the
My
two.
understanding,
That's as it is, but I told you, as the auditor explained it to us, we could do it in such a way it would be level. Go ahead, Mr. Connor.
if you
Sorry.
carry out the plan that the auditor recommends, instead of paying $390,000 or $400,000, you will pay $400,000 less if, in fact, you will then avoid a 3-cent tax increase, which $10,000 over $400,000 is 2.5%. So I still come out that that's going to be a cheap cost of money.
But the problem is-
The problem I have is none of this data is available, so it's very difficult to come up with rational
The problem
statements.
is you're only looking at one level debt, at the wraparound debt. The level debt, you can do the same function. You still can use the excess money to cancel at that point as well. So we're only talking about in one spectrum. I'm ready to vote on this. People can speak. We don't have to debate it. We've debated it for 2
No, I
meetings.
understand. I just
It's a
wanted-
philosophical difference. I'm not angry at anybody about this.
No,
I think it's a long-term savings to the town to do it. The same way if I pay extra principal to my mortgage, I'm going to pay it off sooner. It's no different with this. It's a philosophical opinion.
The problem is, if this was debt we were incurring now, I would agree with you. The problem is that this is debt that has been incurred over the last 5 years that one could argue should have been paid off in the beginning. So we're not coming at the beginning of the process, where I absolutely agree that you pay off debt as you incur, or at least start paying it off. This was debt that you haven't paid off. So what happens is you've got, in some instances, 5 years of debt that you haven't paid yet, which means you need to catch that up. You're saying the flat rate says we catch up next year. The other one says we're going to catch up, but we're going to catch up over time. And so I think it's probably more prudent to catch up on things that we should have done over time rather than roll it all into next year, particularly since next year, because of a number of other budget considerations, one of which is we don't have $470,000 of monies coming in from a sale of property. Secondly, that we don't have additional monies that we have to spend on pensions for the police. That if we can take this particular one, which was not incurred this year, but has been incurred over the last 5 years, and spread it out over the next few years, that's the appropriate thing to do with it. And that's just my comments. Thank you.
Mr. Schlegel?